Hello, archive viewers only. Don't you feel a little
Hello, people in the future.
people in the future? We
What's it
time
like?
traveled.
What's it like in the future? Have you got the vaccine yet? Does it work?
Well, to be fair, all there are. Well, I say
Is Bill
always.
Gates in charge of your mind yet?
I wonder what the
What's he gonna
last
What's he
time
gonna
this
do with
video
it?
is ever going to be watched is. If you're watching
What's
this in
the?
like 2073, it might be you.
That'll probably be me in a nursing home listening back to everything I've done in my life because I can't remember anything.
All right, I'm going to press the start streaming button and hope nothing goes wrong.
Okay, nothing will go wrong. It's okay.
So, yeah,
It's 2021 because it's a different year. That means that nothing bad will happen in this one.
Yeah, I can't. I'm so happy now that everything bad has stopped. Well, to be fair, I thought everything bad was going to stop for
Yeah,
2021, and then Revolution of the Daleks came out, and I went, "Oh,
that's the first thing that happened in the year.
it really is." Chris Chibnall made sure we started this on a note. I haven't. Well, we
On
haven't.
a particular note. That note is F flat.
So we have. I haven't talked to you about this. Yet. I mean, we haven't done any like little mutterings about the episode beforehand. We normally do a couple. I'm gonna come out and say it. If I wrote this, I would be embarrassed.
I'm just gonna
Like,
come out and say it. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I feel nothing,
um,
nothing whatsoever. I
well,
know
that's the
people are
thing.
gonna say, "Oh, Stu hated Revolution of the Daleks. I knew you were gonna hate it." No, I didn't. I don't feel anything.
I don't think hate is an emotion that I could use to describe how I felt watching this. I was annoyed at points. Um, when the fucking drones started speaking with the voices of the Daleks from Remembrance of the Daleks, I went, "How dare you? How dare you do that?" Um,
Were they from Remembrance of the Daleks? I mean, I thought the voice sounded a bit off, but I couldn't really place what it was trying to be.
I think it was trying to be Remembrance. I've seen a couple more people quoting that it's the voice from Remembrance, and as soon as I heard it, I'm like, I know that voice. It's from the past. And tried to place it, and I was like, yeah, that's the Remembrance
It's from
voice,
the
isn't it?
past. Remember in the past when you could go outside
Hey,
when the world was
Stu,
good.
do you remember the past? Because this episode really wanted you to remember the past. I'm going to skip to a
Yeah,
random
one of me.
frame, and I will see something from the past. The
Okay,
Doctor, I
okay,
guess
go
that
okay, go on
counts.
then. I've got the thing up. Well, I mean, obviously, it wants you to remember the past because it starts with a long time ago, far, far away, doing the Star
But
Wars
then,
thing.
yeah, to be fair, I actually enjoyed that gag. I appreciated that. Doctor Who doing
Yeah, it
meta
made me
title
snigger.
card gags is strange. It's unusual, but I very much not. It's my sense of humor to be like, we can fuck with whatever part of this we want. We're making it. So
Yeah, I mean the most obtuse thing, of course, is the that Christmas special called "The Return of Doctor Mysterio," which was based on what Doctor Who apparently translates out as in what language is it that it was doing? I can't remember.
comic book.
Yeah, well, no. I mean, the Doctor Mysterio is what Doctor Who is called in some country in the world. I can't
Oh,
remember. I'm sure chat will tell me.
oh, that's another frame of the Doctor. What's
Tell
she
me,
looking at?
tell me, chat. Go on, go on, chat. Tell me what Doctor Mysterio was a reference to.
That is not a flattering frame of Jodie. That's haunting. Um, so you didn't feel. I understand this. How 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 good would you say it was? Just as a general
Uh,
vibe.
it was it was about as good as Resolution. Not quite as good as Woman Who Fell to Earth. If it was a food, it would be cheese on toast.
I agree with all of the things you just said. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, as I've said, I've started writing my review of it, and I say at the start of it, I reached peak stress a few months ago because of the current situation, and I can't even entertain the idea of being annoyed about an episode of Doctor Who anymore.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
just there at the moment.
I empathize with you, but as said before the stream, I'm in like the entire opposite boat where I've had to spend to work on my video now like 2 months just thinking about Chibnall Doctor Who, and now just watching this, the main feeling I was having was annoyance that he's given me so much more to add to my video. Yesterday was originally the date I intended to get that video out. By the way, that didn't fucking happen.
You you're going to be working this on the. You're going to be working on this for the rest of your fucking life.
Yes. Well, that's
Yeah.
well, based on the current rate, it may end my life, this project. So, that could be how that happens.
Hey,
Um,
and then then they're gonna announce that season 13 is gonna air in like a couple of months or so, and then you're gonna go, oh fuck, I've got to do even more of it.
oh fuck! If I'm not finished by season 13, I will just cry. That'll be my plan. Um, Chat. By the way, hello, chat. It's nice to have you here.
Oh,
Hmm?
hello chat. It's nice to have you. It's nice to have you here. Please write our memes in the chat.
Yeah, please do the memes.
Do
Um,
the memes. You have to do the memes. It is a law.
And while I've got you here, how is the stream looking? Because my internet is garbo right now. My internet is very not good. Hopefully, it's good
Yeah,
enough to
and do I
stream.
do
And
I
if it's
sound all
not,
right? Because
yeah.
apparently sometimes I don't.
So how are we looking? How are we looking at your end? Can you are we buffering too much? Are we well, I guess any would be too much. But are we buffering and it's our fault, or are we buffering and it's your fault? Well, I guess it would be my fault. So I'm going to blame you for my bad internet.
Well, I have bad internet as well, so yeah, probably something to do with it. Anyway, hello chat. They're doing all the memes, so I'm guessing they can't hear us.
Good. Good. It would be awkward if at this
Please,
point they couldn't hear us.
please honk the video and subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, link is in the description.
Mm.
That was a
I want
noise
that
that
to
you just
become.
made.
I want that to become a thing. Please honk the video because I'm sick of being told to like a video even if I don't want to.
I want to be told to leave a leak on the video. And just, there's loads of leaks. Just some chat saying, Jody, you're
I
staring into
want
my
to.
soul.
I want to have a leak on the video. I'm such a child. I really am.
I mean, like, neither of those were highbrow jokes, but mine was just like, that's funny because it's silly, and yours was that's funny because it's we. I don't think you can. I don't think either of us can be superior about the joke over the other.
True. Hang on. Ben Warburton says, "Stu, you sound like an earful of melted chocolate." Is that a good thing
That
or a bad
sounds like a
thing?
very
Chat.
good thing.
Chat? How do I sound?
Yeah, that
Do I
definitely
sound
sounds like
like
a good thing to
melted
me.
chocolate?
Like
Okay. Okay.
that.
I'm just going to accept how I sound.
So this episode does a lot of things, right? I mean, first of all, okay, let's fuck it talking about this chronologically. It's there's just a lot. It just fuck it, let's do it chronologically. So the Doctor's in prison. The Doctor is in prison. Actually, no, before that we even get this scene of Jarvis Johnson getting tea, and he's poisoned, and a Dalek, and is this Dalek that he was transporting is stolen, right? Instant questions
Yeah.
about this scene, but it's like it's a throwaway scene, so you don't get to ask questions about it. You're
But
just
they
like,
do. They try to make this scene have character because they do that bit. They do that little exchange where that woman he's talking to says, "So, how's your mum?"
yeah.
So it's like there's a moment of character there, but it doesn't come
Well,
back or mean anything.
Chris does this a lot. Remember the first like incidental character he kills off? Actually, no, it's not the first. Sorry, it's remember, but in The Woman Who Fell to Earth, his first episode as head writer, he has this guy who's a security guard for a building site, and his only scene is him going, "You're a wonderful granddaughter, and I love you very much. Oh, sorry, got to go now. Speak to you soon. Love you lots." And then he gets immediately killed by Tim Shaw.
It's so you feel something for this person who told you a thing about their life.
It's like, it's so.
Hello, my name is Mr. Character. Here's one thing about my life. Please care about me now.
It's so blatantly shallow in the same way. It's like, it's
I know,
emotional
right?
jingly keys. It's like, it's like if Tim Shaw took off his mask in that episode, and then just the first thing he said was, "I like to kill puppies." Same energy.
Well, well, I suppose you know, it's recognizable, isn't it? It's like it's Chris's style now. It's not very good style, but you know.
Yeah. And well, yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of
I mean,
complaints about the
I
woman he
mean,
felt it
that's the
with.
one positive. That's the main positive thing I have to say about this episode. At least it's recognizable. It reminded me of a world where things were normal. You know,
People
people
being
had
gunned
stood right.
down in the streets.
People are stood right next to each other, not 2 meters away, and
There's a
wearing
scene where people
masks.
hug in this episode. I remember hugging.
Yeah, I remember hugging. Yeah,
So this scene though, this scene that we open with, it sort of invites a lot of questions that the audience doesn't get any chance to get answered. Like this truck driver who is transporting the ruins of the Dalek from Resolution that got destroyed there. He's transporting that in his truck. That's what's going on. He stops by the side of the road for tea, and the tea he was given was poisoned. And the tea serving person was in on it and is there to steal the Dalek. And you're thinking, or at least, well, I'm thinking, okay, so there are a lot of variables in this situation. What if, for example, this man didn't stop for tea? You're just like, does this guy drop? Does it like? How do they know that the Dalek is being transported? How so many things? How did they know he would stop for tea? And like, you may go, oh, it must be his routine, and it's like, it sure is a good job he stopped today. Then, like, it sure is a good job he was thirsty today.
well, the Dalek is really, really intelligent, and it calculates a billion combinations in 1 second
It's
flat. And
dead. And even then, the actual
I
line of
don't know. I
dialogue.
don't know. Is this lady possessed by a Dalek or something? I don't know. There's
Well,
probably some explanation someone's going to chuck at you.
the one line of dialogue in the episode that
People always
like,
do.
there's like one line of dialogue that's like, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Antithetical to the idea that this is a routine for him and they knew he was coming, because he has to tell her that he wants like the thermos filled up, as if this is new and strange. And you know, if he went up to her and said, "I'll have the usual, please," hands the thermos, you'd go, "Oh, this is his routine." So it makes sense that they knew to poison him here, but that's not what happens, and you're just
Yeah, and it's weird because normally, like when I'm driving up and down the country, occasionally that when that happens, you know, when you're allowed outside.
yeah.
When I'm driving up and down the country, I stop off at service stations and go to like the Smiths or something. I don't really stop in a random lay-by just for a cup of tea.
I mean, yeah. I mean, though it is.
There's a random lay-by near my house, which is actually kind of very disturbing. It's occasionally got signs up with like that say like hot fresh food next lay-by, and like the signs are they vary a bit. There was the one that said hot salt beef next lay-by,
Hot salt
and
beef.
then and it's like I've never stopped in this lay-by, I've never gone to it, but there was this one time when the sign said puppies for sale next lay-by, and I'm just like, what?
Oh, you
What
should.
is this? What is this snack van doing?
Hot salt puppies. That's what Tim Shaw
Hot salt,
kills.
hot salt puppies next lay-by.
So, um, yeah. So this is how the Dalek gets stolen from whoever's transporting it and gets into the hands of.
This random guy whose mum is sick or something.
Well, yeah. He what? It's stolen from him, right? Actually, hang on.
Someone in the chat just put the tea woman is Davros.
Hang on. I'm trying to. Okay. So no. Okay. So yeah, this is how it's stolen by what's his fucking name? Jack Robinson. That's his name. Jack Robinson.
No,
Mr. Not
no,
Trump.
isn't not Trump man called Jack Robertson?
I thought it was Robinson. Let me check.
Was it?
Uh,
I don't know.
Jack
I just think of him as not
Robinson.
Trump.
You know what they should have called this episode? They should have called it The Two Jacks. And then
Oh, yeah.
just take. Right. Images.
But yeah, Jack Robertson. He's not Trump.
Right. Okay. Uh, imagine bringing him back. What? Just stop. Um, So yeah, I mean, I did sort of enjoy the level of social commentary we got to, where the stand-in for Donald Trump was making a deal with the Daleks, where they said, "Do you not care about your own race?" And he says, "No," and you're like, okay. I feel like I feel like there's commentary you could be making, and I feel like this isn't it.
He's a Looney Tunes cartoon character.
He is.
That's
So
essentially, yeah,
is
and
so is Jack
I'll be
Robertson.
I'll be honest here. Despite myself with Jack, yeah, so is Jack Robertson. Despite myself, Robertson's kind of the one thing I enjoyed about this episode, because he's just so cartoonish and over the top, and the whole not Trump parallels are so on the nose that I just couldn't help but just
Well,
chuckle at how silly it is.
that's the thing. I find him to be a likable character. I don't know what it is about him. He just sort of has a like, cause everything he does is terrible, but he just sort of has this like
He's just
charisma
so
to him.
open about it and so over the top, and
Yeah,
like, and everything about him is so over the top and on the nose. Like that bit later in the episode where they reveal that, oh, he dodges his taxes.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
feels
yeah,
like I
and
feel.
he also just lost an election as
Like
well.
he doesn't give a shit about the events of the whole episode for a very long time. Like that's the vibe I get from him. He's just sort of like rolling through events like what the fuck is going on? And I kind of vibe with that, I guess.
Mm.
He's my POV for this story. Um, so yeah, the tea lady steals the Dalek.
Tea lady is a pre-Hartnell doctor. Just nick that off the chat.
So yeah, she steals the Dalek. This is a 4-minute scene, by the way, of there's a Dalek. It's in a lorry and someone steals it. And then there's pre-credits. You could cut that down to 30 seconds, honestly, and I feel it would pace the episode better.
Yeah, guy stops for tea. Darla gets kidnapped. End.
Yeah, you literally
Like
only
90,
need
like
Laurie
90
stops for
seconds, I'd
tea.
say.
I mean, I'd rewrite the entire scene so it's not really, really silly, but
Well, I mean, I ditched the entire scene because it doesn't really do much, but
well, yeah, that's true. You can ditch the entire scene.
and replace it with anything else.
So then we've got these 20 or so protesters. What are they protesting? Was that clear?
They apparently this is like an organized demonstration, a bit of role play. Jack Robertson says.
Oh, is it role play?
Apparently, yeah. So he's giving a demonstration of these new defense drones, as he's calling it, modeled on that Dalek that got stolen in that first scene.
I thought that it was a real protest and he was demonstrating the defense drones in the protest.
Yeah, so do I. But people on Twitter told me that I misheard something. But apparently he's arranged this sort of like role play demonstration to show how the defense drone would break up protests.
Now, I love how shit the defense drone is. Like, the thing that he's pitching has a water cannon and like tear gas dispenser on a massive trundly giant machine, and I'm just there thinking a human could do these jobs a lot more effectively.
Yeah, how is this more efficient than just a bloke with a hose,
Yeah,
massive hose?
just man with hose versus Dalek, who would win?
I mean, I suppose it's just a funny image of like the Daleks shooting a water cannon at people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it brings back
I mean,
1960 movie vibes.
it's a funny image. Also quite kind of a disturbing image, given this episode's entire purpose is to draw up lots of imagery that has been very pertinent in the last 15
But
months.
it was filmed more than 15 months ago. Sorry, it was filmed more than
Was
12
it? Was
months
it?
ago. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
but it's just sort of ended up being very well.
pertinent.
Because protests have been a big thing for the last like it hasn't just been it's just sort of spiraled in the last 12 months. But
Yeah.
protests about what's happening in the world has been going on for quite a long time now.
And I mean, I guess the Dalek being the thing like going around calling that protest would be an idea of commentary, and I feel like there could be some commentary there if with that he didn't do it, but there could be.
Well, yeah, it's just all it's really done is just sort of take real world images of protests being broken up by water cannons and tear gas, and just swap people out and put a Dalek in it.
Yeah.
So that's not really commentary then, is it? It's just sort of showing here is a thing that's reminiscent of the real world. That's bad, isn't it?
Well, putting the Dalek in the place of bad thing that's already happening, I think, is an effective means to. Have you listened to Davros? Not generally as a person. I mean the audio play.
The Big Finish play 40 something. Yeah, I have, not for
It's
ages though.
49, I think.
Something like that.
So in Davros, there is a line that I really enjoy as social commentary where someone describes, where someone, the corporation in the episode employs Davros as a scientist there, and a news report, which is owned by the corporation, describes the acquisition of, as, yes, the company has employed Davros, controversial creator of the Daleks. And you're like, yeah, that's pretty good.
I did like that. Controversial. Yeah, it's controversial to create Daleks.
Yeah.
But yeah, my point with this scene though is with this scene though, and showing the Dalek with the water cannon and the tear gas and breaking up protesters. My point with this scene is okay. This is quite a good idea, right? You've got politician introduces new technological development and fetishizes it and say this is the new defense drone, and the viewer sat there going, "This is a Dalek. The obvious thing is going to happen. It's going to gain sentience and it's going to exterminate loads of people." So you got the politician introducing this defense drone, spreading it throughout society. The obvious is going to happen, but the only real practical uses of this defense drone that were shown is to break up this imaginary protest.
Yeah.
And she also says it's going to man the borders, and there's just sort of this little tiny bit of Dalek manning the borders.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. We don't really see any kind of scale. We don't have, like, say, a character who is. We got a government here that is attempting to institute a police state by using these Dalek defense drones under the guise of we're protecting our civilians, but there's no civilian characters.
Well, yeah. Well, you know what would be much more. So the thing is, you say there's no real sense of scale to it, but the thing is, there is enough scale to it for it to fuck up the ending they go for. I guess we'll get back to that. But yeah, I mean, well, like the two places that this plotline could go from this opening have already been done. Victory of the Daleks exists, and Blood of the Daleks exists.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew that Victory of the Daleks was the obvious episode to compare it to, Victory of the Daleks, but in present day. I mean, Victory of the Daleks didn't exactly do much with its introducing the Daleks and domesticating them to the time. It didn't exactly do much with it either, but this episode doesn't do much with it either, so it isn't exactly an improvement.
But it's much closer, I think, to Blood of the Daleks.
Oh yeah, because it's got the Civil War stuff at the end as well.
Well, Stu, I'm going to show you something now. I'm going to risk putting this on the stream. Might get us taken down because I'm actually going to play clips now. If it gets taken down, I'll go back up we'll go back up and you can find us again.
When you said something that you're going to put something on the stream that might get us taken down, I was bracing myself.
Oh no, this is just clips of the show, so we could get
right.
taken down by the BBC. I'm going to put a massive cock on the screen,
as has been established throughout all of these.
Stu, you won't be able to see it with me, so I'm going to send you a link to the video. Here is a scene comparison between Blood of the Daleks and which is an 8th Doctor audio play from Big Finish, and this lovely episode. Here it goes. Let me put the audio on, and Stu, if you could be silent for 50 seconds. Here it goes.
Okay, zipping it.
And you can watch the clip too.
Identify yourselves. Identify. Scans confirm presence of genetic impurities. Scan detects anomalies. Dalek DNA merged with human traces. We are the ultimate evolution. We have mutated to survive. You are not Daleks. You represent a deviation from the purity of the Dalek bloodline. You are impure. The Dalek race must have purity. They must be eradicated. Oh, exterminate! Exterminate! Exterminate the impurities! Exterminate the impurities!
So, that was that. Hopefully the stream is still up.
I just misread the top trending on Twitter. That I thought it said teaching urine calls for schools to be closed.
Stu, did you see the clip?
Yes, I did see the clip. Yeah, it's.
Did you? What were you? I'm just imagining you watching that clip and then going, teaching urine.
That was literally just what happened. Yeah, as said, I have a filthy mind. But yeah. I mean, it's not the first time that an episode's drawn inspiration from Big Finish, I suppose.
Well, I mean, 3 episodes ago we had Haunting of Villa Diodati, which is also a Big Finish premise, kind of. It's Mary Shelley meeting a Cyberman.
Kind of, but I can't imagine someone arriving at that completely separately.
Well, I can imagine someone arriving at this completely separately, but those scenes they're the same scene.
Essentially, yeah.
I did put some stuff out of the Blood of the Dark.
At least Chris gets the point of the Daleks, so.
Oh,
that's something.
Kind of. I think
Kind
he
of.
understands, like, superficially what Dalek is supposed to look like.
Person in the chat, Dan Crocker, just said super epic battle from 5 feet apart. Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing as I was watching it.
Well, to be fair, it is still probably an improvement on the remembrance of the Daleks battles.
Yeah, true.
Hot take.
That is an improvement on. Did you ever see Warriors of the Deep, where it's all these sea devils marching down this corridor while there's people shooting at them, and all of the shots are missing, but they're just walking slowly down the corridor.
Well, that's remembrance of the Daleks, but they're not even fucking moving.
Yeah.
Remembrance of the Daleks just has my favorite scene in Remembrance of the Daleks. My ironically favorite scene is the moment where you've got the Imperial Daleks shooting at 2 renegade Daleks that are just under a bridge and they're not moving, and it fires like a shot and it goes straight between them and like blows up the bridge behind them, and then there's like a second's pause and it fires another shot that does exactly the same thing. It didn't move its gun. And then there's like another second's pause, and it fires another shot that goes between them and hits the back of the bridge. I'm like, what? What are you doing? Why? Why is the? I know why you need the special weapons Dalek now.
Because you're shit at aiming.
Area of effect weapons are the way to go. Do you like Blood of the Daleks, do you?
It's quite good. The point of it is mostly just to introduce Lucy Miller, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, you can definitely say that. But it's also I love the story. I don't know. It's like it sort of feels like the quintessential plotline to do with the Daleks to demonstrate what they're all about and what they're like.
And what they're for, yeah. And it goes into a lot more detail because it's got 2 45-minute episodes to deal with, whereas in this episode it's basically one of about 3 different plots that have been mashed together and expected to play out properly in 45 minutes.
In other words, it's a Chibnall story.
In other words, it's a Chibnall story.
So yeah, the Blood of the Daleks has it shows not only the Daleks, it shows them being smart as well. They know how to approach human beings and not like you have the scene which is a bit too what's the word I'm looking for? Obvious, kind of like obvious. Where someone very clearly wants. It could be a lot more subtle, I suppose, where you have a Dalek talking to the president of Red Rocket Rising, and it says it wants her to extradite the Doctor if they want an alliance with the Daleks, because that's the Daleks' plan to manipulate this colony into believing they will have an alliance with the Daleks that they've never heard of before. And the Dalek leader says to extradite. They want them to extradite the Doctor, and it says he must stand trial. He doesn't even say exterminated. Actually, he just says he must stand trial, but they do understand how to talk to humans is the thing I just rambled about for about a minute. And in this story, they are fucking dense to an insane degree. I guess we'll get to that because that's how it ends.
Well, then again, so are the humans in this story.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Ryan, Yaz, Graham, okay, what's our plan to take down whatever Jack Robertson's doing? Let's just go up to him and talk to him and tell him that we know what you're doing and we're going to take you down.
That scene is so strange, right? Let me just skip to that and find it. That scene is fucking bizarre, right? Because
I know, right?
where is it? It's before the Doctor comes back. Was it before this? Yeah, there it is. So they walk up to him. No idea how the fuck they tracked him down. He's a presidential candidate.
Yeah, that's just sort of been forgotten, hasn't it?
Yeah, presidential candidate, multimillionaire, I assume billionaire, fucking business tycoon. I feel like it would be hard to track him down. Like, I feel like if I wanted to, wouldn't be able to just walk up to Donald Trump.
Well, you probably could. I mean, everyone around him is completely incompetent, apparently.
But they do walk up to him.
How else do you think he managed to get coronavirus?
True. So they walk up to him. And then, after they're like, hey, remember us? We're here to do that. All of these security people just pop out.
Damn. Yeah.
And you're like, okay, so first of all, were you guys hiding in the bushes? That's my first question. And secondly, like, what is the purpose of having security people who hide near you? Surely you want them to be visible.
Oh, sorry, my phone went off. Yeah. Like the whole thing about security people is like, they have to be big and beefy to look intimidating.
Yeah. Which is why it's really funny to see like Shaq with his security guards or Jason Momoa with his security guards who are all like a foot tall, shorter than he is. Also, if you notice in the background, you've still got a hotel chain with Robertson in giant letters on it. Because this man is Trump, remember that?
Because he is Trump. He dodges his taxes.
So yeah, we have the demonstration of the security drones. We have that is Curtis from Misfits.
I'm just looking at the chat. I saw Biden at Aldi.
That is Curtis from Misfits, isn't it? Have you seen that show?
No, I haven't.
I'm fairly confident he is, but he's playing such a different character that it's hard for me to tell. Like he's like Peter Capaldi in that he just fully changes his mannerisms for this role, which is a shame because it's not a very demanding role. Have you seen Misfits?
No, I haven't. It's full of young people.
It's got a lot of
people
knobbing
make
in
me
it.
Angry.
Yeah, it's
because
a
I'm
good
old
show.
now, Jay. I'm an old man.
You sounded so jaded.
Well, I am. I'm old now.
Is it the contractual obligation of age?
Yeah, it's the contractual obligation of age to stop liking young people. Have you seen this TikTok thing they have now? It's shit, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. They keep doing it on my lawn.
I know they should pick up their own TikTok.
In fairness, like when fucking at VidCon, it felt like there was a generational gap between me and the TikTokers, and I'm 21. Like they
Yeah, which is quite fun. Which is quite funny because
yeah.
you are much younger than me and more in that age group.
So all of the people who were like conspicuously TikTokers in at VidCon, you could tell a lot of the TikTokers out, and they were all like 14. It was so strange. Where's my video? My video's on its way. It's currently an hour and 20 minutes edited. There's a lot more to go. Hopefully, I will get it out before February, but I can't promise that. I'm sorry. It's going to be very long, though. Basically, you're going to get all the content that I would be making over the course of these few months at once, and it's all going to be one video. I am making more content currently than I do in a normal cycle. I'm editing it all day, every day.
I'm thinking about just doing a 10-hour live stream footage of my cat.
Do it.
That's probably a good idea. It's probably a better idea than actually making content.
Are you okay, Stu?
No, I'm not okay, Jay. Let's continue with this episode.
We've got Trump there. That's who he is. Oh yeah, right. Remember how the Doctor's in
Yeah,
prison?
Trump and the Prime Minister. Yeah, should we talk about the Prime Minister who was quite obviously modelled on Theresa May?
Yeah.
When this episode was written.
To be fair, I feel it's a blessing that they didn't have time to model the Prime Minister on Boris Johnson.
Well, it's like how could you make someone even more of a parody than Boris Johnson already is? So
yeah. I mean,
I'd quite like them to do their own version of Boris Johnson because, as said, Jack Robertson I actually found kind of fun in this episode.
Oh yeah, he's very
of how
fun.
on the nose he is.
He's a very fun character to see. I just wish that they would. I wish they would tone down the blatant Trump shit because it makes it feel like it's a stand-in for commentary when it's really not got anything to say.
It's just, this is Doctor Who Trump. Nudge, nudge.
Yeah, he's Trump. And he is doing bad things, watch him. And I'm like, could you... Okay, right. Crazy pitch. If you have something to say about Trump, could you do that? But if you don't, could you not do a Trump allegory? Because he's bad is not commentary. I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Well, yeah, it's like whatever you think of those extended SNL cold open skits. Like they take things that have happened in the week, highlight them, write a joke about them. They don't just say them.
So we've got. Do you remember how the Doctor was in prison? That ended up mastering. I guess.
The Timeless Children. It ended the same way that Rick and Morty season 2 ended, didn't it? They just sort of randomly show up and put the Doctor in prison.
Yeah. But in Rick and Morty season 2, it actually is the payoff to his character arc, and it.
Yeah, it's the payoff, and also importantly, getting Rick out of prison and getting everything to make sense again was the entire point of the third season opener. Here, it's just sort of tacked onto the start of the episode, and it's this obstacle in the way of the plot getting started.
Yeah, well, so let's talk about what it because this is a fucking huge pattern in Chibnall's Who. Let's talk about what this actually contributes to the story, right? Let's see what about the story would change if you completely cut this plot line, right? So at the end of The Timeless Children, the Doctor is separated from Ryan, Yaz, and Graham, who fly to Earth in their own TARDIS, and the Doctor goes back to find her own TARDIS, where she plans to go and rejoin them. But before she can rejoin them, the Jadoon teleport on board her TARDIS and put her in prison. And you're like, oh, I guess that's going to matter next episode. So this episode opens with her in prison. You see a few scenes of her in prison. She then immediately gets broken out of prison by Captain Jack and taken... and Jack helps her get back to the TARDIS. And the problem, though, is that the TARDIS... she tries to pilot the TARDIS back to Ryan, Graham, and Yaz as soon as she left off. And when she gets back, she's like, oh, has it been a while? Has it been a week? More than a week? It's been 10 months? Right? That's the plot. So, we had a whole subplot that lasted about 20 minutes. And by the way, just there's a throwaway line, 20 years of her life as a character to get her from a situation where she's in the TARDIS trying to get back to Ryan, Yaz, and Graham to a situation where she's in the TARDIS trying to get back to Ryan, Yaz, and Graham. You could literally just cut all of this completely. And all you'd have to do is find a different way to introduce Jack.
Well, it's like, well, we had one line underlining what the point of this bit was. It was in that scene where she was talking with Ryan about it, and she was saying, "All that time spent in prison, wondering who I am." And when she said that, I was just like, "When did she do any wondering?"
Well, she
Where
was in
was
it for
that in the
19 years.
episode?
Yeah. Well, we don't get to see it, do we? I mean,
Yeah, we don't get to see it in the episode. We just sort of get a shot of her looking sad.
the characterization in this story and most of the era is the characters telling you what their characterization is if we would have been if we were shown it.
Yeah, but instead it's just sort of like, that was the point of those bits.
There's a clip of me
Like-
on the internet already reacting to this with Fringy and Mauler, who I'm not sure if you're aware of. But
I'm not aware of anything or anyone, Jay. I'm barely aware of you.
who are you? I've still got
You're
my
a person
Christmas.
on the
I've just
other, you're a
noticed I've
person
still
on
got
the
my
other end
Christmas
of the other end of the headphones that I'm talking into.
So, that's completely. What were we talking about?
I'm sorry, I've been drinking.
It's okay. You know what? That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea. Do the drinking.
So, I mean, I was talking about how the prison plotline is entirely redundant. Oh yeah, right. The characterization. So, that reaction includes a clip that I laugh at, and I think most people seeing that clip would be like, why did you just laugh? Because it is the thing that I laugh at is Ryan asking the Doctor, "How did it make you feel?" and the Doctor going, "Angry," and I'm like, okay, so this is the synopsis of the characterization. This isn't the characterization itself, is it? But the characterization isn't really there.
No, you don't see any of it.
She,
It's like the.
Hmm?
Sorry, you go.
Well, she pops back up from the TARDIS as bubbly and chirpy as ever, and you don't really notice any difference in her behavior at all. And people might be like, well, it's bubbling under the surface. But, like, you can characterize someone as having something bubbling under the surface, and they don't do that. They just have her asked how she's feeling, and she goes very angry. Anyway, back to being my normal self, which is how they did it with the Gallifrey arc as well in season 12.
That is 13's problem. She's very one note.
It's the problem with all of the characters in this era.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's like this entire prison arc should have been its own an episode in its own right. It should have gone full. It should have gone full heaven sent psychological here. She is in prison for decades, surrounded by monsters that she has defeated in the past, and there's no way out. No one's coming to help her. And when Jack showed up, and he breaks her out, I thought to myself, this should have been an episode in its own right, and this should all be some sort of like psychological mind game she's playing with herself. She imagines Jack showing up and breaking her out in this weird, stupid, over-the-top way, and then it cuts, and then it's like, this is all a dream, Doctor.
Really powerful. If
you're going
showed
to die in here.
If they showed a scene of Jack showing up and like them running out, and you're like, this is really fucking goofy as shit. Like, that scene was like them running in the CGI hamster ball that they clearly didn't have a reference for what it was going to look like when they were shooting it. So we're just like, I guess their direction was run like you're in a ball. So when if they then cut to just the Doctor sitting and thinking, you'd be like, oh, and then they have like another scene like that slightly later of her getting rescued by someone else. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how I'd feel about it in reference to how the Doctor's been characterized previously, but it would be much stronger characterization than what we get. And it would be a stronger story.
Just visions and psychological mind games. Like I mostly had that in my head because I recently watched. Have you watched Gerald's Game on Netflix?
No.
Original movie. It's really good. It's a horror movie about this woman who she's playing some kinky sex game with her husband, and he accidentally has a heart attack while she's chained to the bed, and sort of like so she's stuck in bed for pretty much the whole movie, having mad visions. It's really good.
That sounds fucking brutal.
Yeah, it's really good. Watch Gerald's Game, everybody. It's really good.
It also sounds like exactly your thing.
Yes, it is.
Um,
But yeah, the prison thing. It should have taken up an entire episode.
well, so honestly, it should have taken up two.
It's a good idea.
So-
like, I'm not knocking it.
Here's the thing. So we've got Timeless Children ends the series, and then suddenly, completely out of the blue, the Jadoon just show up and arrest the Doctor in the TARDIS, right? It would be much more effective, I feel, if they had the Jadoon show up as a story of their own, and then, you know, you think, oh, this is going to be like, they already set up in Fugitive of the Jadoon that I said some of those syllables. They already set up in Fugitive of the Jadoon. That is hard to say. They already set up in Fugitive of the Jadoon that the Jadoon are after the Doctor, right? So then you can have an episode after the Timeless Children, if we're keeping the Timeless Children, which apparently we are, where...
Oh, but don't you see? It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah,
Because
but...
she said it doesn't.
Yeah. So, we have another episode after the Timeless Children where the Jadoon show up, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a normal, like, you know, run around with the Jadoon as the villains. And they're trying to arrest the Doctor because she's still a fugitive as far as they're concerned. But then the Doctor loses and is arrested, and you're like, oh, right, yeah, that's a thing that can happen. The Doctor can lose, and when the Doctor loses, there are serious consequences. So we could have, you know, a reminder that there are actually stakes in this show, and that if the Doctor makes mistakes, bad things happen, and she gets arrested.
Then we have a full episode in prison. Yeah.
Yeah, and then our next episode is the prison episode, where honestly, I don't think we should get any cuts from what Yaz, Graham, and Ryan are doing at home. We should just have a full episode of Doctor in prison. We could have some maybe cool cellmate characters for her or something. I don't know. I guess we could. I'm seeing like we introduce a guard, like the Jadoon guard, who has sort of a part in the story, and there would be, I suppose, an interesting relationship there between you know, captive and guard. And then you've got that big area where she can talk to the prisoners next to her, which I will show on screen right now. You could
quite a nice looking scene. This is my problem with Chris. He has good ideas, but he doesn't do enough with them. And so when they get employed in episodes, it's just very slapdash and half baked.
I'm not sure that. I feel like things like the Doctor gets arrested by the Jadoon is a quality neutral idea, and we see the potential in it to create something good. And I feel like that's why you're calling it a good idea. Am I off the money or?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I mean, the sticking point is just how half baked it is.
Yeah. So like
I feel like I'm Mary Berry on Bake Off going, it's not quite done.
Well, it's fucking not. It's barely been in the oven. I'm gonna say it. Even the Timeless Children could be done well. It just isn't. The Timeless Children is an idea that could be executed well. It's called Long Barrow. No, it's not. I'm joking.
Okay, you're gonna have to back. Okay, I'm gonna expect you to back that up in your 90-hour-long Chris Chibnall video, which you're going to be working on until your death.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, while we're at this point, when she's in prison, there was that little sequence where, there was that little bit where a little avatar shows up, and it says to her, "Now it is time to exercise," and the little avatar does jumping jacks to show her how to do jumping jacks or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
and I just thought to myself, I would have really enjoyed it if her little AI fitness assistant was Joe Wicks.
Who is Joe Wicks?
You don't know Joe Wicks? He's massive on YouTube. Does these home workout things that everyone's been doing because they can't go to a gym because of lockdown.
And he exists in canon and is an alien.
Yeah, he exists in canon and is an alien. Joe Wicks is an alien. That's canon.
And Brian Cox is canon to Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, he's in it as well. Yeah, that was cool.
It would be fun to be invited to be in Doctor Who as yourself, wouldn't it? Apparently,
Who else have they had? They've had Alan Sugar as well.
they've had
Oh, and Emily Maitlis is in this episode as herself as well.
who is that?
BBC Newsnight.
Oh right, yeah. Then there's oh, who else? I guess Anne Robinson is canon to Doctor Who because of the android.
Oh yeah, the android. Oh, that was brilliant. That was. Does anyone remember when this show was good?
I do. I remember multiple times when this show was good. It's had its hiccups,
Yeah.
and we're in the
yep.
trough of one of them. So yeah, the Doctor is in prison. This could So what we are saying is that this like little arc. I mean, if you want to do an arc with the Doctor going to prison, it could be, and honestly should have been, 2 episodes at least of content there. Instead, we get we get it reduced to the point that it may as well be cut from the story, and you literally wouldn't change anything except how Jack is introduced. And he can show up for any other reason.
I suppose the reason that it's still in the story is to incite this conflict between the Doctor and Yaz, who
No. I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you. The reason that there's a conflict between the Doctor and Yaz is because she shows up late. The reason that she shows up late is because the TARDIS doesn't get there on time, and that could have happened regardless. That could have happened exactly the same without her going to prison. Because she was already separated.
I said the words "I guess" before saying that.
I'm sorry. Oh, can we talk about the fact that, like, I appreciate references to other Doctor Who stories. I do. But at the point where the Doctor is essentially in a gallery going, look at all of the previous things that you remember, I'm like, okay, yes, I do remember Doctor Who.
Well, I think they had a better reason to do that here than they did in Hellbent, which is literally just Clara wandering through a haunted house with a Dalek and a weeping angel in it.
That's very true. They do have a better reason to do it here. I mean,
what did that Ood in the background do to get put in prison?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm really interested in what an Ood did to get jailed by the Shadow Proclamation. And I'm just thinking about a world where, let's say that was the only, like, person that she could interact with through the bars, and it was actually a character, this deranged Ood or whatever the fuck.
It's like, or it's like the Ood got made to do something horrible by its master.
Or it could play. I don't know. There's so much potential here. There's so much potential for just like, characters to be in the story.
Big Finish box set series, the 13th Doctor, the prison years.
I mean, unironically, I feel like it's an area that needs to be filled in. Like, there could be so many events that happen in this environment.
This is why I'm saying it's a good environment. I like it. It's just gone immediately.
You know what? She could, because she's just fucking immortal, basically. She could even be broken out of the prison by just, external events that happen in the world. So, like, let's say the Shadow Proclamation goes to war with some other faction, and they attack this base, and all of the prisoners escape, and she's among them. That could be fun. There's just so much you could do. That's the thing. Yeah, they don't do it. They just have. They have Jack show up, going, "I'm here to rescue you," and then he does
with a hamster ball.
I'm here to rescue you. Look at her looking at it. I'm here with my hamster ball to rescue you. But it's like, yeah, I mean, all of the Doctor Who props cupboard being opened is so blatantly just like, hey, you remember these things? Because none of them contribute anything to the story. I guess it is world building in terms of like, hey, look at the things that have been kept. You know what? Actually, to be fair, I do love that it was a weeping angel, a silent, an Ood, a Sycorax, and a Pating. It's like four of the more notable creatures original to the New Who, and the one thing that like even fans of this era were like, okay, this episode was bad. That's what I saw, right? Are there any fans of the Chibnall era in chat? If so, well done. Like, I don't know. I guess this, well done for sticking around. But if you are a fan of the Chibnall era in chat, first of all, just say hello. Welcome. You're very welcome here. And secondly, can you tell me, while you are a fan of the Chibnall era, are you a fan specifically of the Pating? And the Saranga Conundrum generally as an episode. See if I can find the Pating. Do you have anything to say about Pating?
I know John is. I don't know anyone who's a fan of arachnids in the UK though.
No, that's a very bad story.
Well, yeah, it's just very half-baked and barely even there.
Well, it's not even that I think that one's more of a case of it being just wrong-baked. Like, it sort of knows what it wants to be, but it wants to be something that's not very good. Like, the whole ending where...
It's like a trifle made out of beef.
Yeah, it is like a trifle made out of beef.
It's like good. It's like good. I like trifle, but why did you make it out of beef?
I'm laughing at that because that needed no explanation at all, but somehow the explanation infinitely improved it.
Oh, I'm laughing at my own jokes.
That's okay. It's like, you know what? It's the Indigo Man. I like the Pating, but also I like the Chumbleys. That's very fair.
Yeah, why can we add a Chumley in this prison place?
Yeah, that's what they should. You know what? I would have been way more on board if instead of showing a Sycorax, an Ood, a Silent, and a Weeping Angel, they showed an Absorbaloff, a Vervoid, a Chumbly, and a Croton.
A Croton.
Yes.
Yeah. Or a Quark.
I like that. I like that our minds are in the same place there. That I would have just been happy at that point.
Or a Dominator, or one of those fish people from Underwater Menace.
I thought you were going to say one of the Hath from The Doctor's Daughter there, when you say the fish people.
Oh yeah, the Hath as well.
I feel like the Hath aren't like at that status of they're clearly being brought back ironically. Like, you know what I mean? The Vervoids have such the sort of I mean, the Absorbaloff obviously has that status where everyone's like, it's ridiculous, and it's from one of the most hated episodes of the Davis era, and you know, all of that.
But a Vervoid I would do though. It's like
Yeah.
how you know how in The Mandalorian they reference the Star Wars Holiday Special.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they do that.
Yeah, they do that. You should watch The Mandalorian.
I watched one of the episodes
Quite.
of it.
It's quite good. It's not great.
I disagree, but that's okay.
That's okay. Disagreement is fine. Someone just said K9 as well. That would have been funny. What did K9 do
was
to
just
get
in prison.
Put in prison.
They've got a gruff prison version of K9. Like, he just.
Oh, and they've painted like the little stripes on K9 to make him look like a prisoner.
Did you ever see the Australian K9 spin-off?
No, I didn't. I heard it was horrible.
I can, for some reason, confirm that I have seen every episode of the Australian K9 spin-off.
Of course you have.
I mean, it was like in a time in my life where I was like, oh, this is more Doctor Who content. I will absorb it right away. And then I did. And Chloe Weather. Chloe Weather is just in one of the cells. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, like it's So I'm guessing it's like I don't know why I never ended up watching the Australian K9 because I did go through that period as well, like where I watched that Zygon softcore porno that I
You've
told you
watched the
about.
Zygon one
Yeah,
thing.
Zygon when being you is not enough.
Oh, that's got to be on the list. We could do that. We could talk about that at one of
Yeah,
our
we could do that
streams.
next if you want. I think someone's put it up on Daily Motion, so it's pretty easy to find.
Our next one is supposedly going to be Daleks invasion of Earth.
It has balls in it and everything,
It has
and
balls
people
in it.
boning,
Are they
and
Zygon balls?
yeah, Zygon balls.
Oh, that's epic. So I do remember.
Anyway, so the doctor's in prison.
You're getting about 20 minutes into this episode. The Doctor has been broken out of prison, right? And you realize that basically nothing has happened in the Earth subplot, and everything like nothing has happened in the Earth subplot. Like you feel like you could basically have just started at this point and you would be fine with everything that's going on Earth. And then the Doctor in prison subplot, so much has happened that it should fill genuinely 2 episodes of the show. It's confused the pacing of this one. So yeah, this guy is just like, by the way, I cloned a Dalek.
Yeah,
then
what was with that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stretches in this story of like, apparently he was just able to do this without any like. Apparently he was able to acquire all of the technology necessary to clone a Dalek specimen without any of his superiors knowing any of what he was doing until there was a full Dalek ready that apparently had been grown for long enough that it had infiltrated like cyber security or something and created an entire facility. We'll get to that. That is a fucking beast of a plot point where you're just like, it's one of those things where like I feel like someone will try and justify it with the explanation they give, and I'm like, just saying it doesn't make it plausible. Like, so yeah, he's grown a Dalek. He's told to incinerate it. By the way, in our watch through, I think we noticed this is just an unmodified PC case, which is fun that he's housing the Dalek in. It's just a PC. He goes to burn the Dalek as he was told to, and for some reason, to burn it, he opens the PC case instead of just putting the PC. I guess maybe it's a valuable piece of equipment. I guess that could be fair. But it does seem strange. But the Dalek attacks him, it latches itself onto him, and it possesses him, because that's apparently not a plot point that Chibnall is self-aware enough to quietly drop. That Resolute and Resolution introduced that Daleks could possess people. I don't know, maybe I'm the only person who thinks that's not very good. Stuart, how do you feel about the Daleks
I
being
like a bit of body horror.
So do I.
I mean, I don't know why it has to be a Dalek, but whatever,
That's the
I'll
thing.
go with it.
So one of my most significant criticisms of Resolution is the fact that it is not written about a Dalek. It is written about a super like powered squid monster that uses power armor that is in every like meaningful respect different from what a Dalek is. But
Yeah,
it's
I
also,
just
it's
saw
been
your
given a
mouse go
Dalek
across
skin.
the screen.
I'll do that again. You can chase it. Yeah, it's a creature that is, in every meaningful way, in every way that the script is concerned with it, different from a Dalek. Like, if you switched the name of that creature, you called it a Globtron or something, and you switched the aesthetics completely.
A doodad.
Yeah. You make it instead
It's
of a
called
squid creature.
it's called a doodad.
Instead of a squid creature, it's some kind of fucking like floating spiky ball. I don't know, like a sea urchin, and it possesses people by stabbing them with its quills. And its armor is, instead of a Dalek shape, it's completely spherical and it floats. Right? You make those changes, and no one would be going, "Well, this is a bit similar to a Dalek, isn't it?" Because it's not in any way similar to a Dalek. That's why I don't like. Well, that's one of the reasons I don't like Resolution very much.
I don't know. I mean, I mostly didn't like Resolution because it just felt like two completely different things mashed together.
There are a lot of reasons not to like Resolution.
Kind of like Revolution of the Daleks, actually, which is like 3 different episodes mashed together.
Yeah, true. Well, it is. It absolutely is. So yeah, this guy gets possessed by a Dalek, by the Dalek that he's cloned. There it is. It's on his back. Doctor gets reunited with the TARDIS and reunites with Ryan, Graham, and Yaz, making the entire prison subplot entirely redundant. Oh, that's weird. The TARDIS windows are lit up white there instead of yellow. They're normally lit up yellow in Jodie's TARDIS. I'm a nerd. So
Well, that's so that they can sell us some more beautiful merchandise, Jack.
quite possibly. Oh, I saw.
Look, this one's a slightly different color. Buy it now.
Well, I mean, that's what they're going to do. You know, did you notice that all of the Daleks had different manipulator arms to the plungers in this episode?
No, I did not notice
The
that.
bronze Daleks have. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, but they're not plungers on their arms. Look, there they are. You know, that'll show up for you in a second. Got another shot of the Daleks in here. Yeah, they're not plungers.
Hang on. Is it going to show up yet? I'm seeing Jodie's face and she's looking surprised. Oh, now I'm seeing a keypad. Now I'm seeing a man
Oh, they
in
might
the
not have
corridor.
been on. They might not have been on screen when they said here they are. They might have been cropped out by OBS. Well, by me using OBS more specifically.
This episode has got so many things in it. It's got Jodie looking surprised, a man in a corridor.
It has got all of those things. Do you? I don't even want to mention the part where Jodie summons the Daleks here. There's another one. Let's see if that's actually on screen. Yeah, it is.
Well, that's the point where
yeah.
it becomes yet another Dalek civil war, isn't it?
Hey, remember that plot line where the Daleks had a civil war?
Yeah, I do. And I remember the other one where there was another civil war and another one where there was another civil war, and it's such an interesting idea that has never been done before.
You know what I would have been way more interested in as a premise than the blood of the Daleks, but again, or victory of the Daleks, but again, if they actually did use the captured Dalek casing to create drones, and they weren't a Dalek plot in any way, and they were automated by AI, and it was just a story about an authoritarian government going too far, I would be interested in that.
Yeah, like there's like a hint of that in there, that this was the direction that they were going in, but they didn't.
Well, like whenever you have technology based on on something captured from aliens, they have to go one of two twists where, you know, they have to retroactively involve the aliens in Doctor Who. Not retroactively, I don't know why I used that word. They have to they have to make the aliens somehow involved afterwards. It could just be a story where some humans found some technology that's way beyond the realms of anything we could build, and how that influences the world. That's a very valid story to tell, and would be very cool.
Totally. I mean, the Prime Minister in this episode is really, really underused and just shit.
Well, you know what? I think they just wanted to kill Theresa May, and they did.
Yeah, true, and it is cathartic. Although, oh my god, can we talk about that scene where the Daleks gain the Dalek mutants, and
and then they turn on with their lights inside, but red now.
Yeah, but red now for some reason. But no, that's not my issue with that's not the thing that I want to bring up here. The thing that I want to bring up here is, so the Daleks have now got all the Dalek mutants in them. They've infiltrated society, and and the Daleks are everywhere now, and they've started killing people. And we get a scene of not Theresa May stood on the steps of Downing Street, just sort of stuttering and going, no, this is not happening.
Yeah,
people are not dying.
That's
Everything
weird.
is fine.
It is weird as fuck.
But the reason I bring that up is that literally happened in March. We literally watched our Prime Minister stutter and stumble and go, "No, everything is fine."
The exact phrasing she uses. The exact phrasing she uses, if I remember correctly, is, "We're having a few teething problems with the drones, but everything is under control."
Yeah, which
It's
I mean,
weird
it
that this was
hit
filmed
very
before
close
it
to home, that
happened.
scene did.
It is weird that a lot of this was filmed before that happened.
Well, I think it's just an unhappy coincidence that reminded me of COVID. But I think they were just highlighting this whole reality denial thing that's become a thing in Western politics over the last few
Oh
years.
yeah.
But yeah, that scene just made me think, oh my god, that's
So
very close to home.
they show the drones being 3D printed in a way that's not how 3D printing looks. I'm just gonna say that, and I'm gonna move on. Especially because it's so conspicuously just like you can see the fade where they couldn't be bothered to properly incorporate the effect into the practical shot. But fuck it.
Well, but 3D printing is a thing.
Yeah, no,
It's
I've used it.
it's socially relevant, Jay. That's the point of it. Like not Trump is Trump.
That's true.
3D printing is a thing. Look, we know about a thing in the real world. Let's just put it in the episode.
This was a weird moment, wasn't it, where they get Jack to say something out of character and then make fun of him for it, if I recall correctly. Can I get away with playing this for a second? I can, but that wasn't the right second. No, I'm not. I'm going to stop trying to risk playing this. Yeah, I can't remember what he says. But does anyone remember the line that Jack gives where just before Yaz says, "Are you something like you seem to need a lot of compliments," and like I'm fine with the idea of Jack being made fun of. Like genuinely, I'm perfectly happy for other characters to make fun of Jack for whatever reason. But like, it seems strange that they sent him out of character to do that. I don't understand what they wanted to achieve with that. Do you remember the scene I am referring to, Stu?
I remember the scene where Jack stops Yaz when she's like having a meltdown over the doctor to say to her to enjoy your time with the doctor while you've got it or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that scene is
That's the
fine.
main bit I remember.
It's weird how those lines are delivered to Yaz, the only companion in the story who does not leave the TARDIS. Like,
yeah,
surely that should have been said to Graham or to Ryan. If you want, this fucking characterization to be pertinent. Oh yeah, Trump goes on board the TARDIS, everyone claps. Yeah, so the defense. So we get they find the Dalek mutant factory. They which apparently exists in Japan. This Dalek mutant has only been recently cloned, and there are these it's somehow created this enormous facility in Japan of more Dalek mutant clones, and it is bizarre. Like they give words in the story to justify this, but there is no justifying this. I'm sorry.
The Dalek can calculate 1 million combinations in 1 second flat or something. I don't know.
But that was in reference to a code lock. You don't even need
But
to calculate
I don't know.
that.
I don't know. Just because the
They're just
Daleks are very
numbers.
clever and they can do things very quickly or something, and
They can also teleport
and,
when exposed to UV
and
light.
a magic fairy with pixie dust generated. It just works, okay, Jay. Just stop thinking.
They can also teleport with
I don't
UV light.
fucking know. Yeah, they can teleport with UV light now or something. Just use words.
I imagine this was originally going to be set in 2021. This was, but they had to specify. They had the title card they added at the beginning. Actually, I'm thinking now that title card they added in the beginning was. Oh no, because that's not even specifying that it's. Yeah, because that okay. So the resolution was set in 2019. Ignore me. I'm being slow.
Oh yeah, and isn't this also the scene where Robertson is shouting at the scientist guy, "How did you get the purchase order numbers?"
Yes, which is important for the
It's like,
audience to know.
That's the question you want to ask.
It's important for the audience to know how the fuck any of this happened. But it's none of the characters would care. Surely, to be fair, I can almost believe that Jack Robertson would ask that. But just because he's a cartoon character who just does bizarre things. So yeah, we have Theresa May introduces the Daleks. Oh, we get this scene between Ryan and the Doctor, which we've already sort of touched on, where the Doctor is just like, it is. I remember your criticisms of Power of Three, where there's a story and then it occasionally stops to let the characters go. So how do you feel?
Yeah, that's the thing he's employing here. Just stop the episode to ask each other how you feel.
Well, that's the entire era. He doesn't know how to incorporate characterization into a story. He will stop the story if he wants to do characterization, and he will have a character say, "How do you feel?" And that's literally the question Ryan asks in this episode. Well, sorry, how does it make you feel?
And I expand on this point in the video called He Who Moans Reviews All of Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who. It's on my channel. Go subscribe to Stu Bag Full and honk the video.
That's one of your long videos.
Yeah. But yeah, this scene here where the Doctor and Ryan sit down and go, "So how do you feel?" And the Doctor says, I was in the prison all that time wondering who I am." And this is also the bit where we get Ryan, we get the lead into Ryan deciding to leave the TARDIS, where the Doctor says, "Well, it sounds like you've enjoyed your time away." "Yes, I have. I've been outside talking to my mates, doing lots of things off screen that the viewer is not seeing."
That's
and
not
so
happening in the real 2020.
Doesn't really have any personal connection to at all.
That's the thing. All of this is just stuff that the viewer didn't get to see at all. Apparently, the Doctor is angry, and apparently Ryan is having more fun outside the TARDIS. And you're like, okay, sure, I guess. It would be nice to see any characterization.
This is just more of the whole telling the viewer what the character's going through instead of showing you any of it. I mean, all we really see of Ryan's decision to leave the TARDIS is like that scene at the end of him on the bike again with Graham.
So you know what doesn't happen in this episode?
What?
Ryan doesn't ride a bike up a ladder.
But yeah, his dyspraxia gets brought back, so that's like a nice little bookend to the series, isn't it?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say it. Genuinely, it was a mature end to that arc. It was probably the best way to close it off, was to have him still not able to ride a bike, but what did he say? He's like, I think Graham says, like, be careful, you'll fall. And Ryan says something like, man, I've seen all this stuff. You think a little bike's going to scare me? And then he still fails to ride it, but he's got like a new outlook on his failure to ride a bike now. And genuinely, best part of the episode by far and default. Like,
growth?
Yeah, it's genuine growth, and it's genuinely, I think, the most mature way to end the arc. And I liked it. I liked it a lot when that happened. Although it's right next to the fucking...
the best scene in the episode, by far.
Yeah, it's also right next to this shit, which is currently on screen. Although again, like I said, Ryan's primary growth and realizing that it's time for him to leave the TARDIS happens via dialogue that he delivers to the Doctor, which we don't see. It's like how many people does Ryan actually have in his life? There's Yaz, Graham, that friend of his from Can You Hear Me? Yeah.
And
the people he played basketball with in that shot.
The people he played basketball with in that shot. Yeah.
Do you think they struggled to get back the actor who plays Grace? Possibly. Do you think they couldn't reach her? Do you think they couldn't get her in the project? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
Just based on the shot that they include her with.
Maybe the scene was shot after COVID and they didn't want to have that many people around. I don't know.
Quite possibly.
Because I heard that they did do additional filming after COVID happened.
Oh, I guess they wanted to modify some stuff, huh?
Yeah, maybe. Someone in the comments just put friend one, friend 2, and friend 3. I'm just imagining a scene of Ryan with friend 1, friend 2, and friend 3, and he's just saying, "See you later, friend 2."
That's probably what they're credited as. So we get the scene. This scene was fucking
I just-
praised so much on Twitter. I saw this scene being praised to no end. I'm just like, it's so hollow. There's nothing to support any of this. Ryan hasn't been a character for the last 2 seasons, and now he's like, I've matured, I've grown, and you're like, cool, I guess. I'm not sure who you were before.
I miss my nan.
I can't ride a bike.
Miss my nan, I can't ride a bike. And now I still miss my nan and I can't ride a bike.
Is it, are we sticking with Graham then, and not Grandad? Yes, Graham.
So that, like, undoes the character arc of the season 11, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, isn't the character arc of season 11 like him recovering after the death of Grace and he gets to the point where he can call Graham Grandad?
Oh yeah, he
and
does do that. He
it
does
takes
that. He
you
calls
away?
him Grandad in this episode. I'm just mean that's his character trait in like the first series is not calling.
Yeah. But then he goes back to calling him Graham in this series, in
Does
this
he?
one episode, doesn't he?
Does he?
I swear there is one bit where there's one bit where Graham says something cringy and then Ryan says to him, "Okay, we're going to take this seriously now, Graham." And he goes, "Graham, not Grandad, Graham."
Huh. I don't remember that.
I didn't make that bit up, did I?
That's in the Dalek spaceship, which apparently they got sent to because. So yeah, we get the scene where the Dalek possessing this guy, Leo, I think is his name, explains its plan in great detail for no reason. It's also not written like a Dalek. It's like sadistic. It's openly sadistic. It's not just I will kill because that's my purpose and killing is important. It's like I will enjoy this. Not to that degree, but you know. That's like Chibnall writes Daleks. Like he doesn't know what the fuck they are.
Well, it's like with Jack Robertson. It's cartoony, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean the Daleks can be very cartoony anyway. You don't have to change them to make them cartoony. So yeah, the Daleks, the security drone Daleks turn red to let you know they're evil now. They kill Theresa May.
Okay. That's the best bit of the episode.
Theresa May getting killed. That's fair. Then we have the stupidest decision made in the episode, where the Doctor's like, "Oh, there are all of these Daleks around. You know what? You know what the solution to this is? We'll call the Daleks." So she sends a reconnaissance scout signal. Apparently, is the line I recall from the episode. She sends the signal from the Dalek in Resolution, pretending to be that Dalek, saying, because that Dalek's whole plan was to scout out the Earth and summon the Dalek fleet if it thought it was suitable for invasion. She sends the same signal, which is an invasion signal, if we recall, like, hey, come over and invade, not, hey, come over and check out these weird Daleks. I guess maybe she modified it, but I don't recall anything in this episode, like, you know, saying that, which is kind of important, kind of thing that you should probably include. But the solution here, so I'm going to say it, I don't think it's more Daleks. I don't think it's to bring a Dalek ship to Earth.
No, because aren't Daleks the most dangerous thing in the universe? So it's basically, you got a planet full of Daleks. What's the solution? Bring in more Daleks, more different Daleks to get rid of those first Daleks. So how do you get rid of the second lot of Daleks then?
It genuinely reminds me of that Simpsons joke. What's the? Can anyone in chat remind me of it? I think it's Principal Skinner says it, where like I don't know, there's loads of like snakes have been released into Springfield, and someone's like, and Skinner is like, don't worry, we're gonna release a lot of bears into Springfield, and they'll just kill the snakes.
Oh yeah.
And Lisa's like, won't the bears be even worse? And Skinner says, well, we've thought about that. We're going to release a load of gorillas, and they're going to kill the bears. And Lisa's like, well, isn't that worse yet again? And he says, well, that's the real beautiful part. When winter comes around, the gorillas will just freeze to death. And you're like, that is a more coherent plan than what happens in this story.
Well, I mean, it's already the episode had already proven that the Doctor's thinking is a bit whack in this in this story, because you know how at the start the companion's bright idea is to go up to Jack Robertson personally and say, "We know what you're doing. We're going to stop you." When the companions get the Doctor back, they immediately go up to Jack Robertson again and go, "I know what you're doing. We're going to stop you."
Yes.
It's sort of base no thinking.
Well, there is no thinking goes into this. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how you could write a first draft and it look like this, where just nothing happens for reasons. I honestly feel like Chibnall's objectives in writing this story isn't to create a cohesive or coherent story, but to create, like, essentially a name call of all of the things that people recognize. Because how else do you arrive at this result?
Well, that's the show's comfort zone, isn't it? That's the show sinking back into its comfort zone, which is basically what season 12 was.
Yes.
Subsisting on references, callbacks,
Well,
baiting about those references and callbacks in the future.
It shouldn't be the show's comfort
changing.
zone, though. It shouldn't be. I mean, you know, the Tom Baker era.
I agree. It shouldn't be, but
it's fucking Tom
It just
Baker.
comes-
Tom Baker's Reign of the Doctor had 2 Dalek stories in it and 1 Cyberman
Yeah, I know.
story, and one of those 3 stories is actually all right.
yeah, I know. And as I said, it's the show's comfort zone that it's slinking back into. And part of me thinks that maybe the reason that he's doing that is because, okay, in series 11 he tried to ditch all of the old classic monsters and all of the callbacks. Like, the Doctor doesn't mention
Yeah.
Gallifrey at all in season 11. He tries to ditch it all, go for a complete clean slate, complete fresh start. And the onslaught of season 11 happened, and then so it's like, okay, we're slinking back into our comfort zone. We're just going to do references and try and just sort of
But
try and just sort of hodgepodge this all together and hope that we'll get away with it until there's a new showrunner.
he sees the I mean, if the graceful thing would be to step down, but you know, he sees the response to season 11 of you know, it's no new monster. It's all new monsters. No callbacks.
I mean, of course,
it's very self-contained.
of course, this is
anthology.
me. Of course, this is me just thinking.
Well, yeah.
Just throwing an idea out there.
This
I
is
don't know
all
that this is how he's thinking.
guesswork.
Of course.
This is all guesswork, but like it is all. Season 11 is very much the show's roots of just every episode is a new concept being introduced, a new story, and a new. You like it's not dependent on anything. It's an anthology show basically, where every week a new concept is introduced, and it's no real references. It's all its own stuff. And then season 11 is widely panned critically by a very large portion of the audience. And he goes, "Oh, you don't like that? Let me do literally the opposite," while not identifying that the issue is that it's just really poorly written. Like, and then it's like he goes up to someone and stabs them in the street, and then everyone's horrified, and he goes, "Oh wait, who should I be stabbing then? If you don't like me stabbing this person, who should I stab?" I was like, please just write characters competently, and you know, plots and theme would be a nice bonus on top of that.
Someone in the chat just put, I forgot about this. The Daleks invaded Earth and killed the Prime Minister in 2009 as well.
That's true, and then that was erased from time by Matt Smith's era.
Yeah, that's true. Although Harriet Jones was former Prime Minister at the time, I think.
If those Daleks were erased from time, does that mean Harriet Jones is still alive? The answer is don't think about it.
She's still MP for Flydale North.
Oh, why did I press play there? If I had just like absentmindedly pressed play and left it, because apparently that's what I think I'm doing, I could just got the stream taken down by going on autopilot. Yeah, so the Doctor calls a squadron of Daleks to destroy all of the Daleks that are here. Now, first of all, she has no reason to believe they won't get along, as far as I'm aware. Like, is she basing that on anything?
Well, I think she's basing that. I think she's basing that on what's happened before, when different factions of Daleks have met each other and one has decided that the other is impure.
But I mean, what I mean is, there's no reason for her to assume that they would be different factions. One of them is a Dalek that is from their faction. It arrived on Earth and it started building more Daleks that were the same. It cloned itself and it created more Daleks. There's no reason to assume that they wouldn't just team up.
But isn't...
They give a reason post hoc, which is that the Daleks have apparently got human DNA in them. And the reason that they used to justify that is that they were being fed liquefied remains of the workers from the base in Japan. But eating someone, gonna say it, doesn't give you their DNA.
Yeah, true. That is a point.
So yeah, the Daleks are called to Earth to the bronze Daleks called to Earth to wipe out the defense drones. They do in that scene that we've already shown.
Yeah, they do. They wipe out the defense drones in like a few minutes.
Like, just to be
And I
clear,
was just
right?
like, oh, that's a nice idea that's just sort of vanished.
Let's just have a look, right, at all of those Daleks on the screen now pouring out of that spaceship. There are probably at least 200 on screen, especially if we include the ones in the back there. That's maybe 200, right? Chat, give me a rough estimate of how many Daleks this is. And reminder that all of these blue specks in the background are Daleks. I can show, yeah. So I want to see how many Daleks chat thinks that is. Over 12 is the first answer. The first two answers we get are over 12 and at least 7. That's 1,000, 4, 100 million, 5,000, 32,000. I don't know why I expected serious answers.
Well, she only invites one spaceship, doesn't she?
Well, I don't know how she controls that. She sends out the reconnaissance scout signal that would summon the fleet for an invasion. So someone in the chat the signal would have just summoned an invasion force. I don't understand why is the Doctor able to specify, one fleet? I guess we just have to headcanon that there is a signal that the drone can send, the scout can send that's like, there's something that one ship needs to come and deal with. So yeah, someone else just brought up that all of these Daleks, not one of them sees the TARDIS very obviously and conspicuously on the top of this bridge. Which is just like, okay, I guess the Daleks are blind, like, as a plot point. But then the reason I bring up how many Daleks there are is that, okay, so first of all, Ryan, Graham, and Jack teleport on board the Dalek ship and plant loads of bombs on it, which they have. Seems very strange to send Ryan and Graham into the middle of a Dalek ship when you've just got Jack who could do it. He's immortal. But yeah, so we get the Dalek. The bronze Daleks come.
The Dalek vision was impaired; they could not see.
That's a reference, which means it's good.
That's why.
So. Oh yeah, there were these really weird off-model CGI versions of the Daleks in this episode where the shoulder section is too tall. You can see that the little groove in their chest is way too tall compared to how they actually look, and the headlamps are off-model as well. So that's strange. I don't know why they didn't just use the CGI models they clearly already have of the Daleks, because they have used CGI Daleks many a time before, but just off-model ones. I'm not sure why. So yeah, the Doctor materializes.
Oh yeah,
is
it just me who thought that the extermination effect looked a bit cheap and crap?
What with the drones exterminating people?
Yeah, the drones exterminating people.
I didn't think it looked great. I mean, I thought my main visual gripe with the episode was the lens flares looking like Garbo. So many lens flares.
I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of the effect they used it to make it look sort of 2D and cell shaded. I prefer the X-ray thing.
There was X-ray in it.
There was a bit of X-ray in it. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's red and not blue.
So yeah, Trump teams up with the Daleks. That's barely relevant, so don't need to worry about that. But yeah, Trump teams up with the Daleks. The ship
Oh,
gets
yeah.
blown up by the bombs they plant. And yeah, we have this scene where the Doctor's like, "Hey, I'm in my TARDIS. Come get me." And apparently, literally every Dalek of the thousands that we just showed immediately just fly into the TARDIS without question. None of them are like, "I'm going to do something else." They're all like, "You know what? This takes every single one of us, and we all need to fly in here." And lo and behold, it was a trap. It wasn't really the TARDIS. It was the other TARDIS that the Doctor was like, "Wah wah," and she sent it to the void. So the scale as well that we mentioned at the beginning, the scale of this, where the drones are being sent all across Britain, completely prevents this ending from happening. Same in the rankings in the UK. They show that the spiders spread all across the city, and then the end deals with the spiders in the hotel, and then you're like, I feel like there are more spiders to deal with, and then they just ignore it. Same here. All of the Daleks in the immediate vicinity to the TARDIS will have been dealt with, but so none of the others would though, and no Dalek that just doesn't decide to fly in here would have been dealt with. It's really
Well, it's just you show you. It's just you show some, and that's enough, isn't it? It's like how Ryan has 3 friends that he plays basketball with.
Stu, do you want to know the kicker, right?
All right, what's the kicker?
You know how the Doctor summoned the Bronze Daleks to destroy the defense drone Daleks, and then destroyed the Bronze Daleks by tricking them to go into the TARDIS, and then destroying the TARDIS that they were in, right? That's the plan. There is literally no reason that this wouldn't have worked on the defense drones Daleks initially. There is no
Yes, that is a point.
discernible difference between the Bronze Daleks and the defense drone Daleks that allows her to do this to the Bronze Daleks and not to the defense drones Daleks. In fairness, it wouldn't have worked on the defense drone Daleks, but it wouldn't have worked on the Bronze Daleks either. And there's no actual like difference causing there's no.
Wait, but do the defense drones actually see the Doctor as the enemy of the Daleks?
Well, she never interacts with one, does she? So how
No,
would we
she
know?
doesn't.
They are Daleks, so you would assume so.
That is a missed trick that the episode does, because surely the Doctor is supposed to interact with Daleks.
So yeah, she disguises the other TARDIS as her TARDIS.
Just the whole thing is so fucking slapdash.
It's just really fucking bad. Oh yeah, and then Ryan and Graham decide to leave, and we get a weird insert of Grace that looks really bad, and then we get the most mature possible end to Ryan's arc, which I very much support, and then the episode is over.
Well, it's just the entire episode, as I said, it's slapdash, and it's very dismissive to what it has got in there.
How do you mean
like,
it doesn't pay any of its own concepts?
It doesn't pay any attention to any of its important points, like that bit that I was mentioning earlier, where Jack takes Yaz aside to say you've got to enjoy the time with the Doctor while you've got it. And so, like, that's the end of Yaz having any bad vibes towards the Doctor because Jack took her aside and gave her a speech. It's sort of like, no, that's a character arc there, but you've just sort of had one little scene to go, okay, let's get this character arc stuff out of the way with now so we can carry on with the episode.
Yes, completely that.
It's just faster. Get this bit out of the way with Dow so we can carry on with the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's everything. I mean, several plot points that could be cut with no effect to the story. Like the Bronze Daleks being summoned, that could have just been done to the defense drone. I mean, that would have just made the finale, no Dalek battle in the finale, but, at least the plot would resemble something coherent. You could have, and then the prison subplot, no impact on the story at all. You could just have the Doctor show up late in the TARDIS, which is what happens anyway, just after she goes to prison. So if you cut all of the redundant stuff from this episode, you have a story where basically nothing happens. The defense drones get activated and the Doctor's like, fly in my TARDIS, and then they fly in the TARDIS and they go away. I don't think it's very good.
No, it's not.
Twitter's really praising it, though.
Killed 75 minutes.
It did. And you know what? That's an important job for it to do in current year.
Well, yeah, because there's endless time
No, actually,
in which
not
no
only
one can really do much.
not only did it kill 75 minutes, I think it like throttled and beat those 75 minutes to within an inch of its life.
As I said, I reached peak stress months ago. Can't really bring myself to get angry at it.
No, I don't think. I mean, there were moments that pissed me off, but I don't think anger is the emotion I would use to describe how I feel about it in retrospect. More
Well,
just.
there's bits in there that I like. It's just so underdone that
I mean,
it barely even registers to
there.
me.
I would say more so there are bits in there that you can see how they could be turned into good things, right?
Yeah, yeah. As I said, it's like a trifle made out of beef.
I think the most appropriate way to describe my emotions is vicarious embarrassment. I was like, man, you guys made this, huh? Neat. Maybe we should put. Maybe
You
we should
made
put.
this and put it on a shelf for 10
I was
months.
about to make the same. I was about to make the joke of. Oh, look, Chris Chibnall made a Doctor Who episode. Let's put it up on the fridge. So,
It's sort of like because this was made and then left on the shelf for pretty much a year. So it's a trifle that's been made out of beef and it's been left on a shelf out of the
yeah,
fridge for an entire year.
it's got progressively worse for every day it went unaired. It was a masterpiece when it was finished.
Well, it wasn't a masterpiece, but it wasn't a masterpiece, but it was a trifle made out of beef.
That's true, yeah. But it was a very good trifle
Yeah.
made out of beef.
But it has kind of progressively gotten worse because like I don't think anyone wanted their festive Doctor Who special to be quite so
Bad.
on the nose in terms of it's all about like oppressive wannabe authoritarian governments
I
controlling
mean,
protesters.
you say that. All I'm seeing
And
on
the,
Twitter for it is just love and praise. Loads of love and praise for this on Twitter.
is it, yeah.
I mean, if you search the hashtag, I don't know if Twitter influences that or not. If
I
they
mean,
make it, want to swing it one way or another. But
well, I mean
loads of
that's just social media, isn't it? It's not
true.
reflective of the wider audience. But I just sort of like, I mean, one thing that I do like about this episode is that it wants to be politically and socially relevant. Like I like sci-fi that is politically and socially relevant typically, and I do hate that Chris Chibnall being not very good at it has motivated people to say that political
Yeah.
sci-fi shouldn't be a thing. When no, politics is a backbone of sci-fi. Political sci-fi is a good thing. I like it. It can be done well. It's just Chris Chibnall has all the subtlety of a brick to the face,
Yeah.
and
And very little to say with that brick.
yeah,
Like,
but
it's a brick that's just got
here's
Trump is bad written on it, and he chucks it and throws it into your face.
yeah, and here's the thing. I admire the fact that it wants to try and be socially relevant. It's just, do people want it to be socially relevant right now? Because we've
No,
all
probably
had
not, to
such
be
a
fair.
fucking difficult year and such a difficult time. And as I said, that scene with the Prime Minister stood on the steps of Downing Street going, everything's under control, everything's fine, reminding me so much of COVID. I just thought this episode is like a comedian taking the stage on September the 12th, 2001, and saying to the audience, so, how about that 9/11 thing that happened yesterday?
Yeah.
It's like, do people want this right now?
But they're like, but then they're going, but I wrote this material 3 days ago. I'm sorry. It's a coincidence. I'm sorry.
It's a complete coincidence
I don't-
that this happened.
Maybe those were the reshoots they did. Maybe the reshoots they did were the oh, that would be cringe if they saw that happening in real life and reshot some of it so that the Prime Minister character goes,
mean,
everything's under control, it's all fine.
Admittedly, it's hypocritical of me to say because I've been making jokes about COVID for months now. But yeah, I just sort of thought, yeah, that's a bit. Yeah, you're putting this out now, aren't you?
But it's then The thing is about Chris Chibnall and social commentary, I find, is that he rarely has anything deep to say about the issues he's talking about. So you've got stuff like Doctor Who and the Silurians, or, you know, Aliens of fucking London, I don't know, which is very clearly political commentary, but it's wearing the skin of a pulp sci-fi. Whereas this is like, you know, dumb pulp sci-fi wearing the skin of a political commentary, but superficially.
It's just sort of like, oh, I know that. That's like what's happening in the real world.
Yeah, I mean, the same way it's like, oh, I know that. That was in Doctor Who before. It feels like it's just how many brownie points can we squeeze out of an episode by doing things that people are like, oh, that.
It's like when they made you remember the episode where they made the Zygons into literally ISIS?
I liked that episode. Fight me. You know that episode is popular as well.
Is it popular? I don't know, Jay. I'm not with the times, as I told you. I'm approaching the old folks' home at this point. I kind of want to. It'd be quite nice. I get people to look after me.
Zygon inversion is
Bring me wine.
People love that speech, definitely. So I've got some super chats to go through. I'll bring you wine.
Ooh, go through the super chats. That's a good idea.
We've got, so this was bad. Initial watch 4 out of 10. After talking about it with friends, 2 out of 10. What a bad time this was. Is this the worst festive special? Oh, there's a lot of contenders, but I mean, it's possible. All right, actually, yeah. What are the contenders?
The shit Narnia one.
Oh yeah, that was really shit. But I think this might have it beat.
Nah, the shit Narnia one for me easily.
For me, this definitely has it beat. That still had coherent characters and stuff. This just had it just had a lot of like. I mean, it was actually real trash. But
the shit Narnia one was the point where I was just sort of like, where I was really hyped about the Moffat era. Then the Narnia one happened, and then I was like, I'm not so sure about that.
It's definitely worse than the Christmas Invasion.
Oh yeah, totally. What other ones are there?
Runaway Bride.
I'm a nerd. I should know all this shit.
Runaway. Oh well, I've googled a list. Runaway Bride.
Runaway Bride was okay.
Yeah,
Runaway. Great. Oh, Time of the Doctor.
Oh, I still think that beats this. Like, that started to approach parody of Doctor Who levels, but this is just that. This is just parody of Doctor Who. Like that story is, coherent. I didn't think
I suppose in terms of bad, it's I suppose in terms of bad, I would call it bad as in how I was feeling at the time.
True.
And right now, as I said, I'm just numb to it.
Yeah, that's so I mean, for me, I think this only goes, the only Christmas special that might be worse than it is the Narnia one. Because yeah, all these other options, there are some bad ones in here, but this is a very bad story. Gonna say it. Hot take. I'm a bit burnt out on this. You know, I'm just like, I'm feeling pretty jaded towards this episode.
It's not helped, of course, the fact that you've had to spend 9,000 hours on a very long video about Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who.
It's been about 2 months now doing that.
And it's at least another 90.
We've got from Advo. We've got.
He's gonna be long gone from the showrunnership by the time you finish that video, Joe.
Oh yeah. We've got from Advo. Join Jay's Discord server with invite code 9K5NBBB. I will put that in chat if anyone wants to join my Discord server with that code. Here it is. Here it comes. Spamming it in the chat there. Then we've got Hey Uwu:3.
I don't know what that
Oh,
means.
:3, like it's the emote, but they've typed it out. They've typed out :3, like the words, but they just mean the emote that's like a face. That took me a second, probably because I'm tired. By the way, chat. Oh, if you type it into chat, it makes a little cat face. Okay, cool. So, yeah, I watched this episode at like 3 a.m. and I am not currently at a state of like sleep schedule where 3 a.m. is a time I comfortably go to bed while getting up happy the next day. I have been very tired today, but it took me until 3 a.m. to acquire the episode. So, I mean,
This is why
legally
you
watch
should
the
drink
episode.
This is why you should drink Monster Energy Drink. Monster Energy Drink. It peps you up.
I mean, technically, I think the way I watch these episodes is legal, but
I'm totally not being paid by Monster to advertise for them.
well, you're not.
No, no, I'm not. Actually, don't buy Monster. It's terrible.
Do you have a favorite energy drink?
No, but particularly not Monster because I was addicted to it at university. I drank like 2 of them every day.
Oof.
Yeah, and it totally ruined my teeth.
Oh, my teeth are just naturally ruined. Actually, to be fair, I don't know. I've never had a control set of teeth to test. We've got another
A control set of teeth.
another Fradvo saying join Jay's Discord server with invite code 9K5NBBB. I'll put that in chat again. There it goes. Pardon my simping, Jay, but you're beautiful. And then a little praying emoji. That's very sweet of you to say. Alan. Come on, Jay, stop thinking. I assume that was said. I think, if I remember correctly, that was said in response to me saying something along the lines of, "When you think about it," which you do sort of have to stop thinking if you want to absorb this episode positively. I think. I don't think you can really engage with the story of this episode.
You.
And well, there have got to be ways. But I don't see many ways to engage with the story of this episode and still enjoy it. To actually engage with the events that are happening in the plot. Like engaging with the fact that there are Daleks fighting Daleks. Like, you can totally do that. But engaging with the
reason
plot
that you but the reason you think that, Jay, is that you're thinking.
But that's what I'm saying. You have to... Thinking is the part of it that makes the thing think the think.
That is what happens in the brain place.
Stephen Moffat has one of those.
He's got a very big one.
Very big.
It's vast. Colossal.
The Daleks are black with a red tint. That means they're evil! I am glad the Cybermen are just Iron Man suits, and now the Daleks are generic as well. Hey, you know what? These are a one-time episode design. I doubt they're ever coming back, so that's fine.
Isn't that all of the Dalek designs except the 2005 ones, though?
Well, yeah.
Because all the Dalek designs except from the 2005 ones have been like one episode Daleks.
I'm fine with the 2005 ones being basically permanent Daleks. The thing is, every time they try to introduce a new Dalek design, it's an overhaul rather than an update. In the classic series, whenever they modified the Daleks, it was an update to the design rather than an overhaul. Even the Imperial ones, which are like the furthest removed they ever got from the original Daleks, were an update to the Necros Daleks, which were an update to the Resurrection Daleks, which were an update to the Genesis Daleks. And it's like, yeah, they up. So if they did it like that, the Daleks would probably change in design, but they don't. They're like, here's the new Dalek. It's 12 feet high and green. And you're like, no, thanks. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll wait 5 years and try again. And in 5 years, they're like, here's the new Dalek. It's actually got legs and it's 3 feet wide and it's blue. And you're like, okay, no. And yeah, I feel like that's going to be the pattern forever now, is they are going to massively try to change everything about the design and it like it removes the core proportions and the core aesthetic of the Daleks, and then they just quietly switch back. Anyway, I'd watch the stream, but I don't care about Doctor Who. Can't wait for your video on it though, so I can still avoid the show while being correct. I hope you enjoy it. It's taking the life out of me to make. 1 out of 10. This is the only Chibnall. 1 out of 10. This is the only Chibnall episode I've enjoyed. I think 1
The
out
only
of 10 is
Chibnall
a bit...
episode you've enjoyed.
That's strange to me. I'm not sure what about this episode would be... Maybe it's because it's got Jack in it.
I don't know, probably. He's not very much of a presence in it, though, is he?
Not really. He's just sort of around.
Yeah, he's just sort of there to remind you of other times. Oh yeah, the best line in this episode, the bit where Jack's on the phone and he's talking about someone who took out a Dalek with a moped and her son's boxing glove.
I didn't catch that when I was listening to the episode, when I was watching the episode.
Jack just said that, and I just thought, why couldn't I have seen someone take out a Dalek with a moped and a boxing glove? I would have enjoyed watching that.
I am happy. Well, you know what? At the point where we're confirming that it happens, I would rather see it, but I would sort of just rather it doesn't happen.
I don't know. I mean, it'd be an enjoyable thing to put on screen instead of just having someone saying it.
You know what it would be fun as? It would be fun as like a propaganda film in the future of someone who's like, vote for me. I punch Daleks. I'd enjoy it in that. I'd enjoy it in that context. We got. Did the reboot change history? I assumed everything was exactly the same except the cracks, especially considering that River still existed. I assume, do you mean the Chibnall era changing history? Because I'm not, or the 2005 reboot changing history, because there are inconsistencies between the 2005 and classic series, but most of those are explained with the Time War did it. Do you have an interpretation of that one, Stu?
Wasn't like there's a bunch of stuff that they did and then tried to erase somehow, wasn't there?
Well,
there's supposed to be a reason why like the Earth, like no one on Earth remembers that it got kidnapped from space by taken out of space by Daleks that one time. That's because of the
cracks in time in season 5.
Like you can retcon pretty much everything, can't you?
Yes. I don't think there's anything that's
you shouldn't
to retcon.
You shouldn't, of course, but you can retcon everything.
I mean, I guess with Doctor Who, with basically you're guaranteed that someone after you is going to make episodes. So the only thing that stops you from retconning stuff is if anyone is going to unretcon it afterwards. So if you essentially say, by the way, the Doctor never even existed. That's the retcon we're making. Someone probably who takes over after you will go, actually, the Doctor did exist. Like that's the degree of it. I feel like as well, like if a writer ever had the balls to like destroy the TARDIS or something and have the Doctor have to find like another mode of transport, it would be getting brought back by the next showrunner or the next but one or the next but two. There's no way it's staying gone forever.
Oh yeah, totally. And they're totally going to do something with the Timeless Children.
Oh, like with the sonic screwdriver, that actually happened to the sonic screwdriver. They tried to get rid of it, and then it was so iconic that they didn't let them. Oh yeah, I mean they're still going to do stuff with the Division, I assume, with the Timeless Children.
Presumably, yeah, that's probably going to be season 13's mystery box.
Yay!
Yeah, we got another of those.
And then we've got had a lot of fun. This era may not be the best, but it's the most fun I've had with Who in years. Proper shut my brain off entertainment. That's a very valid way to enjoy this content.
Yes, that is. I can respect that.
I sort of envy the ability to do that, I guess.
Yeah, so do I.
Because I'm not.
I mean, I could to a
anymore.
degree. I said that's why I'm not pissed off with this episode.
I'm not. I'm like. I'm very bad at turning this sort of critical eye off now. I say that. I also have weird like lapses where I will watch something and be like, "This is amazing," and it's not in retrospect. But I can't like deliberately turn off the just trying to,
Oh
you know.
that was me when I first saw Prometheus in the cinema,
Oh, we've got a final super chat
which I
in. Sorry,
which I admit is a very bad film.
I enjoyed Prometheus a lot when I first saw it.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Watch it back though.
Intrigue,
No.
intrigue really works on me. It's just like generally, just genuinely, if all a writer does is ask loads of questions which could have cool answers, I'll be like, whoa, whoa. And they've not even like established a plot or done anything with the story. They've just gone, what's in this alien cave? And I'm like, oh my god, there could be anything in that alien cave. That's me
That was
watching
the
stuff.
that was the entire appeal of Lost.
That is that well, J.J. Abrams.
So much time wasted.
Oh yeah, you know what we haven't mentioned yet? Someone super chatted in. I mean, we've got two super chats. One of them says Doctor Who Woo, which is very good. And we've also got someone
Dr.
super chatted
Wuhan.
in. Stu, have you seen the John Bishop news?
So yes, John Bishop. Yes. I hadn't seen this leak. I was just watching BBC One, and then the announcer over the credits just said, "And Doctor Who fans should stay tuned for a special announcement." And I was just sort of like, "What? Okay." And I just kept watching, and then it just showed that little scene, and then John Bishop turned around, and then it just said the words "introducing John Bishop" with the Doctor Who theme over it. And then it
Yeah,
just stopped.
it's
I was just like,
very
"What
odd.
the fuck was that?"
It's really odd. So, does he even have a line in it? I don't think he does he?
No, he doesn't. It's just sort of a little scene. John Bishop, done.
It's really buffering hard, but yeah. So, oh, there he is. So, like, they don't even give a fucking character name. I'm find this bizarre.
Is John Bishop the new Doctor?
Apparently, he's playing Dan. Is his character name? But I don't know how if that's verified by anywhere. I assume he's going to have a significant role in the series, but not not like main companion in all 8 episodes kind of status. Anyway, that's
Yeah,
that's
I'm,
everything.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing this announcement is for the contingent of Doctor Who fans who care about celebrity cameos.
I guess. I mean,
Presumably that's a big subsection of them, because why else would you cast Bradley Walsh
yeah, I do like it's like we've got rid of our old comedian slash game show host, so we have to replace him immediately.
with a new one, another one?
If you were worried that you were going to have Doctor Who without a comedian game show host, here, don't worry. We are replacing him right away. You won't have to live in a world where Doctor Who doesn't have it feature a game show host as a regular cast member. Oh no, in the title it says sorry, I said I don't know if it's been verified anywhere that his character is called Dan. The video title is Welcome to the TARDIS, introducing John Bishop as Dan. I'm sure he'll have characterization.
His characterization is his name is Dan, and he's a man in a white van.
Should we guess what his character trait will be? Because he will have 2 or maybe 3.
His mother died, and he is sad about that.
So hang on, that might be it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so his name's Dan.
it's going to be
he's a
something
man
along
with
those
white van.
lines.
What?
It's going to be something along those lines. Something quite simple that anyone can sort of understand the emotional resonance of, and it's going to be his character will be that he has the simple emotional response to the simple stimulus. I'm calling that now. So it will be equivalent to his mother is dead, so he's sad, or it probably won't be something that makes him too unlikable either. So it probably won't be like, he's run into a lot of money and become very self-absorbed and snobbish. Like, it won't be that.
Well, no, he's a man in a white van.
Like
so
mad with power. Well, like, he could win the lottery in his first episode and then go mad with power.
True.
That's if he's a companion, by the way. If he's a companion character,
I think
he will
that
have that.
I think that's a bit too interesting, though.
Yeah, it is. Well,
I think
that's the thing.
I think it's
going through.
It's gonna be something. Sorry.
You do it.
It's gonna be something simple, and it's probably gonna be very similar to Grace dying in the first episode. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like either his mum is dead, partner is dead, someone's dead.
I'm trying to think of an alternative to that. Like he could be hard on his money. That could be like the opposite angle. He could be hard on his money, and he's grateful for stuff. You know.
Oh, so that's social commentary, I guess.
I mean, you can get a good character out of that. I feel like that's almost too deep. He's hard on his money, so he's a very grateful person
No, it's
generally
gonna,
for.
no, it's gonna be a simple thing like mum is dead, wife is dead.
Yeah, but I agree that it will be a simple thing, but I don't know that it will be
It's like that.
someone's dead.
It's like at the beginning of Revolution of the Daleks, where they imply that random incidental character's mum is sick or something.
Yeah, yeah. He might have a sick relative he really cares for. Something along those lines.
Or a sick puppy. No,
Yeah,
they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't kill an animal in the first episode. They wouldn't do that, would they?
going through the Woman Who Fell to Earth and the Ghost Monument specifically, but also most of the season 11 episodes, you get all of these impressions of the characters that they could be writing, and then they just don't, and you're like, oh, they could have done something interesting, then you didn't. Like, for example, when Ryan is in the tent hearing about the brief for the intergalactic rally in the Ghost Monument, he asks the question, what's the prize for the rally, right? That's the first thing he thinks to ask on this alien planet is, what's the prize? And he's like, and the guy is like, oh, it's a lot of money for the prize. That's the prize. And Ryan says, are we eligible too? And he's like, well, no. And that's a really interesting character that he's just accidentally written, because like that's a huge drive being demonstrated there, is that he is in a bizarre world-shattering situation, and he's just spotted an opportunity for money and jumped on it very fast. But in actuality, all that scene served is to communicate to the audience that the prize is a lot of money and that Ryan isn't eligible to win it, because both of those are important pieces of information for the plot. Like, he's accidentally characterized as something way more interesting than he actually is, and that character trait never comes up again. And then the same way, in the same episode where you've got Ryan running outside with the gun to go and shoot the robots, and then he shoots them all very quickly, that could be a scene where he learns that actually the Doctor isn't to be trusted and her methods aren't that effective, and then he unlearns that over the course of the series. But no, they just then have, it turns out that, yep, the Doctor was right, so yes, do it. Don't do guns, they're bad, they always fail. Like, imagine if he actually learned from not taking the Doctor's advice and it going well for him. He learned not to take the Doctor's advice, and then we have an actual character. So I'm going on and on, I realise. I've been working on this for a while.
It's okay, Jay. Just breathe.
No.
Breathe. It's fine.
I refuse.
You're in a field, and there are trees, and the wind, and the birds.
Got 2 more super chats in.
Everything's fine.
Everything is fine. The year is 2009. Everything's fine. 2 more super chats in. John Bishop is the 14th Doctor coming back in time to make sure Jodie regenerates. May well be that. Who knows?
Someone do 7 more super chats just to give Jay something to do to not work on this video.
Yeah, Dan could be a lie as well. Dan could definitely be like a misdirect if he's someone. He could be the next fucking master. Who knows? And then we've got final super chat. Wallace and Gromit are both the 14th Doctor. I agree.
I think Gromit definitely.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's kind of they're two halves of the Doctor's persona, really. Gromit's the one who knows what he's doing, and Wallace is the quirky one who doesn't.
Yes, actually. I do wish that doesn't know what he's doing.
The Doctor split into 2 different people.
I do wish that doesn't know what he's doing wasn't a part of the Doctor's character, because that's not part of the Doctor's character, but well, it has been since Smith and Capaldi, which is just, it vexes me that that's apparently a thing now, is that the Doctor is socially particularly just inept for no reason sometimes. Like, okay, but Anyway, this has been very fun. I
It has
enjoyed
been
the
very
stream.
fun.
I hope everyone watching
enjoyed
enjoyed the
it.
stream as well, and that you did as well, Stu.
Yes, I did. Hopefully, I wasn't too grumpy.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thank you. I will return to the old folks' home now. Bye bye.
And now only the archive viewers can hear us.
Hello, people in the past.
The future.
Someone in the chat just wrote Zack Snyder's Bert and Ernie versus Wallace and Gromit.
All right. Enjoy this little.
Dan backwards is nad. Nothing special about that.
All right. I want to stop the recording now. Bye, archive viewers.
Bye bye.